So these are my melons, my watermelons, cantaloupe, Kajari melons. They're in a very tender spot right now. And I'm trying to get these planted without snapping them. So this one, I went to pull it out and it snapped the stem of it. So try to work really carefully with the rest of these to make sure I don't do that. Our goal here with the trellis and the melons is to train these to grow up the trellis here. And that way we'll have a little more space for a few more plants. That's the plan anyway. Last year our melons did not do very well between squash vine borers, which also prey on melons, and too much rain, and me trying to figure out what I'm doing. All of that together ended up in no harvest of melons of any kind. So I'm hoping to change that for this year. Alright guys, so we have gotten some melons and squash and zucchini and loofah and cantaloupe all planted in the garden today. And I wanted to just kind of show y'all something I'm going to be keeping an eye on. I may have to replant this one. This one's a snake bean. It's a type of gourd, and it'll grow to, I don't know, up to like 3 or 4 feet long when it's done. But this particular seed, the seed is not coming off of the leaves here. So it's sprouted, and the seed cap is kind of stuck. I can't get it off easily. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on that over the next couple of days. This was one of the seeds that I had to soak a little bit before I planted it, so I might not have soaked it long enough. And if that's the case, then I'll just have to re-soak and just plant straight out here. I started some of these in the house a couple weeks ago, and just to kind of be able to put them out now that most of our danger of frost is past, and in the hopes that I can get a pretty decent harvest off of some of this before we get hit with the squash vine borers and some of the other bugs that hit me pretty early on last year. So my hope is the earlier I can get them out, the earlier I can get a harvest, and it won't be a complete loss like some of my plants were. So I've got them planted along this back trellis here. And then I've got a few specialty varieties that I planted in between the front trellises up here. So these are like the scallop squash, and then the little round squash. So that's the ones that are up here, and then the regular squash and zucchini are in the back here. So we're making progress. The tomato boxes have gotten filled with the wood, and this first one down here on the end has gotten completely filled with soil. So our next step will be to get a layer of compost in here, put up the cattle panel trellises, and it'll be ready to plant tomatoes. Now our other boxes, we haven't quite got that far on it yet. This one has all the wood, the leaves, and it's been probably about halfway filled with the dirt. It's just a labor-intensive chore. that deer woodrow has taken on. Pulling dirt. I don't know if I can zoom in on how far back down there, but right back there. That's where the dirt pile is, and it's pretty far back that he's trucking all this dirt in for me here. And then this other one hasn't gotten any in yet. But our hope is to have these done by this weekend, where we can get the compost in. You'll see him laughing.
My back holds out.
And we'll get those tomatoes going. He's finishing up the getting all the fence pieces put up, because after our rain, we noticed we have had some visitors out here in our dirt pile and in the garden and walking in the tomato plants. So we've got to hurry up and get the rest of the fence up, so they'll leave those alone. But our potatoes made it through the frost okay. I had covered each of those with a thick layer of compost, and they have bored their way out of that and are looking great. The radishes are doing really well, and some of them are even starting to look like we've got radishes. So I'm super excited. And yep, that's gonna be some marigolds. I'm gonna have so many of those in the garden this year. That'll be the weed I fight the most, is marigolds. But the cabbages survived. They're pretty cold hardy. Didn't have to worry about them too much. The only thing I've got to worry about them surviving is whatever this is that has been chewing on them. See if I can see any of that. Nope. I'm not spotting anything. But several of them have been gnawed on to varying degrees. So I'm just gonna have to keep a close eye out. I guess it's time to start coming back out here with the black light and seeing what I can find. Overall, it's not much yet, but we're getting it started, and it won't be long. Everything will be growing. All right, and on the green stalk planter, our lettuces are looking really, really good and healthy right now, and about ready to get my first little bit of salad off of them. And then a few things off the other. They've spent a few days inside, probably a day too many inside. So I'm hoping by tomorrow they'll perk back up a little bit. And then I got the remaining levels planted. So this level has oregano, borage, the type of flower, some lavender, and what was the other one? Some stevia. And then I've got rosemary and the Spilanthes toothache plant, bouquet dill, 2 different types of bouquet dill, and a Long Island dill. Finish that out, and then this 4th row, 3rd from the bottom, that has 6 different types of basil in it. We've got a lime basil, lemon basil, just the Genovese sweet basil, holy basil, a cinnamon basil, and then a dark purple opal basil. And then we finally have put out our dwarf tomatoes. So I've got 3 of these Rosy Fitch, and those are the micro tomatoes I got from, those came from Haas Tools. And then I've got the, that's another of the Rosy Finch, and then the other kind is this Tiny Tim tomato, and I think those came from M.I. Gardner. But I just transplanted these into here yesterday, so expect them to kind of look a little wilty the next couple of days, and then they'll perk on up as they continue to take root. And then planted in the bottom, we've got several different types of mint. I've got a lemon mint, and then a mint mix, and then I'll be taking cuttings from my chocolate mint that's I've got in a pot in a different place somewhere, and get it grafted into one of these. Put the mint in the bottom so that when it gets watered or as it starts to grow, it doesn't flavor everything below it with mint. But that's the plan for that one. And then we've got our garlic beds, the one in ground here and the front flower bed, and then my other one over in the swimming pool bed. They both came through the freeze over the weekend really well and are looking fantastic. So, banana tree, we read up on it this year and try to see if we can't manage to get a banana harvest. Maybe not, but it's always fun to experiment. That's it for now, guys. We'll give y'all an update again over the weekend, and thanks for watching us grow. See you next time.